Good evening, everyone. I was going to say ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to say good evening, people of Earth, because I want to be that inclusive. So good evening, people of Earth, and welcome to the Urchin Tank and this year's version of the Seaweed Challenge. My name's Fred Jacklin. I'm the registrar here at Vancouver Island University, and I'm super happy to be acting as your Master of Ceremonies this evening. The VIU community acknowledges and thanks the Snuneymuxw, Snuneymuxw, Quw'utsun, and Tla'amin First Nations on whose traditional lands we live, teach, learn, research, and share knowledge. Now that you've all had a chance to get comfortable, I hope that you've had the chance to check out the students' projects in the lobby. And you might be wondering, as you settle into your seats in this beautiful theater, what the heck have I gotten myself into? What is an urchin tank, and what's the big deal with seaweed? Well, the Urchin Tank is a parody of Shark Tank, the popular reality TV series seen around the world where entrepreneurs pitch their ideas to industry sharks with the chance to get rich. At the Urchin Tank, students will present their seaweed creations to our urchins, who are successful seaweed entrepreneurs, and they will seek their advice on how to move a new product to market. But why seaweed? Oh, that's easy. Seaweed is sexy. You think I'm joking? I am serious. Did you know that seaweed is a rich source of zinc? And did you know that zinc is a mineral essential for the production of testosterone? See where I'm going? And did you know that testosterone is the king of sex hormones? And so I wasn't kidding when I said seaweed is sexy. Now, tonight's event is a showcase for interdisciplinary activity and all the possibilities available at this amazing place we call Vancouver Island University. Our biology and culinary arts students have been working on their Seaweed Challenge creations all term in classes focused on fermentation. In addition, digital media and event planning students have been using the Seaweed Challenge as the basis for much of their coursework this term. Now, this amazing interdisciplinary learning experience is the brainchild of VIU's Center for Seafood Innovation, or CSI. Yeah. So all my jokes about CSI just seem stale and outdated, so I'm just going to move on. So this was the brainchild of VIU's Center for Seafood Innovation, knowing that interest in seaweed is growing exponentially because it's so sexy. The CSI approached instructors with the idea of using seaweed as the real-world focus for their courses. And boom, the Urchin Tank and the Seaweed Challenge were born. So the CSI works collaboratively with students and faculty with the goal of helping BC seafood companies to extract more value from sustainable seafood harvests. The point is, what I'm trying to say, this interdisciplinary experiential learning project highlights what is possible when diverse disciplines at VIU come together. Tonight, we have representation from culinary arts, biology, media studies, event planning, and the Center for Seafood Innovation, which is the glue that holds it all together. So that means five unique VIU groups are now coming together to make the Urchin Tank a unique and collaborative affair. And I think that's amazing. So would you please now give a very warm welcome to Deborah Halbach, who's the manager of the Center for Seafood Innovation.
Thank you, Fred. I am absolutely thrilled to be here again and really happy to have you as our MC for a second year in a row. Thank you so much. So hello everyone and welcome to the Urchin Tank. This is the finale of the Seaweed Challenge. The Urchin Tank delivers on VIU's core values or themes. So people, place, potential. We're creating connections, we're addressing regional issues, and we're catalyzing the potential of students and seaweed entrepreneurs. So through the Seaweed Challenge, students help the sector innovate and companies are introduced to new product and new talent. Students learn about the food industry opportunities while contributing to economic development and food security. So the challenge is an interdisciplinary applied research and public education project where students collaborate and apply their learning to a real life situation. And they learn how to present their work at the Urchin Tank. So that's how we put it all together. Everything we do at CSI involves eating stuff and presenting stuff, right? Because I think, actually my colleague, I guess, or co-student, Stacy is in the audience. We went through communications together. And I really latched onto this idea of entertainment education. And that's what we're doing. We're using education and we're combining it with entertainment to teach all of you about the industry. So this year we went collaboration crazy. So I'm not going to list everybody that's involved, but we really went collaboration crazy. We have 4 different disciplines involved in the actual Urchin Tank, and including we also had engineering involved because they helped us with the Urchin Cup, making it, and they made the coasters for us, and then the theater students are also here helping tonight, helping us. So it's just been absolutely amazing. And as you can imagine, coordinating a 4-month project with 4 classes, 4 businesses, and wraps up with an event like this is a lot of work. And I want to thank Olivia Alexander and her team of students, Melanie, Sydney, and Edward, for all the work that went into this event. And there's many, many other people involved, but they were the core team. So if we give them a round of applause. And I also want to thank our industry partners, so North Pacific Kelp, Canadian Pacifico, NAS Foods, and the Pacific Seaweed Industry Association, as well as our supporters, Hub City Fisheries, MNP, VIU Internal Grants, and the Ministry of Agriculture and Food. So thank you very much for your support. And finally, the main stars of the Urchin Tank are the students and their professors, Dr. Loudon, Chef Ross, Professor Davies, and Dr. Murray. And I forgot to hold, I was supposed to have a program here, but make sure you look at the program to get additional details about all the people that are involved in the program. And that program was made by Melanie Laredo, one of our students. Okay. So next up are Chef Ross, if he's available to get away from backstage, and Andrew Loudon to give us some background behind the science behind the Seaweed Challenge. Perfect.
Thank you. So I'm Andy Loudon. I am a biology professor here at VIU. First of all, thank you so much for being here. It means a ton to us and to the students and everything we've been up to this whole semester that you're all here. So amazing turnout. This whole event is about collaboration. It's all about the teamwork. And it's all about coming together, what we can all do and make it better, much better than if each of our own disciplines did our own thing. today we're eating fermented foods, so hopefully you enjoyed them. And when it comes down to it, that is not new to humans. So since the dawn of agriculture, us humans have been enjoying food and beverages made by microbes. So back in the day, you leave your grain water out for too long, alcohol. You know, the advent of beer, bread, it leavens. Why? Because of yeast, right? Back in the day, we didn't know that. So, you know, people came up with all different types of gods that explain why we have beer and bread. But now we know, right? We know it's the yeast. We know that it's the bacteria that's responsible for some of these really delicious foods. So we've had this long history as humans of enjoying these fermented foods. But when it comes down to microbiology, it's a really short history. So we didn't know that it was yeast fermenting to make alcohol until the 1880s, right? So some of us probably have pictures of relatives from the 1880s. It wasn't that long ago. Ampicillin, the antibiotic, isn't even 100 years old. So in that term, we have a really short history with microbiology. So what we're doing here is we're teaming up with folks that are becoming experts in making fantastic, food, and folks that are becoming experts at asking scientific questions and really asking some of those mechanisms about what's going on with the bacteria in our fermented food products. So I've got to say, I'm so proud of everyone involved, all the students, all the faculty. This year, I want to point out the media students. So we have media students. I think for their assignment, they need a 10-minute film. They have over 100 hours of footage. So they've just been following us around. It's embedded with us, you could say. And it's been fantastic. So hopefully they'll be making a web series. And when you see videos here of all the groups here in a bit, made by the media studies. So a whole nother discipline included. So with that, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you enjoy the show.
Well, I learned a lot there, but I'm still going to thank God for beer. So now it's time to welcome tonight's urchins, who are all leaders in the emerging BC seaweed sector. They are interested in new seaweed product development and new talent, so they're in the right place tonight. The urchins supplied raw materials, spoke to students, and are now joining us on stage for the Urchin Tank. So please welcome Kelper Romero of North Pacific Kelp Wild Foods. Kelper joins us all the way from Haida Gwaii, where they hand harvest kelp and process it into value-added products for distribution around the world. Committed to sustainability, Kelper supplied the students with seaweed species, including sargassum, an invasive seaweed. And incidentally, sargassum is not to be confused with sarcasm, which is an invasive thought process of mine. Next, we have our next urchin, Majid Hajabeji of Canadian Pacifico Seaweeds. Joining us from Surrey, Majid describes his company as a biotech firm. Canadian Pacifico is actively working on the development of a range of consumer products and was the first BC company to receive funding from the Canadian Food Innovation Network towards the development of functional seaweed compounds. And by the way, let me save you some time. The Canadian Food Innovation Network is not currently available on any of our cable networks or streaming services. It'll come soon. Our third urchin that we welcome to the Urchin Tank is Mark Smith, who is President and CEO of the Pacific Seaweed Industry Association. Mark is a past board member and chair of the Vancouver Island Economic Alliance, VIEA, and still chairs the Foreign Trade Zone and Invest Vancouver Island, FTZVI initiative. He serves on the board of Small Business BC, SBBC, and has served on the BC Minister of Agriculture and Foods Advisory on Regenerative Agriculture and Agritech, RAA. I have no idea why I felt it was necessary to read all those initials, but for some reason I did, and I did that. So where was I? Yes, a very big welcome to all of these amazing urchins. Thank you for joining us. Okay, and now it's time for the Urchin Tank rules. This is a university, and this evening we are dealing with serious science and serious business, and we have a serious prize, and so there are a lot of serious rules. Okay. Okay. All right, rules. Make yourself comfortable. The urchins will judge the students' products based on 3 categories. First category, category number 1, or in Latin, unus. Sensory appeal. How does the product rate with regard to appearance, aroma, taste, texture, and I guess sound? Second category, category number 2, or in Latin, duo. Innovation. Does the product take advantage of an opportunity or solve a problem? Does it expand the market for seaweed harvested in BC? Does it provide a solution for consumers? And does it help to solve an environmental problem? Innovation. And the third category, category number 3, or in Latin, anyone? Trebus? In Latin, trebus. The third category is marketability. Will the product appeal to consumers? Is it scalable? Could this product be considered for commercialization? Now, the urchins will score these products on a scale of 1 to 4, no, on a scale of 1 to 7, no, on a scale of 1 to 10 for each of the 3 categories, with 10 being the highest score. And urchins, after each team's presentation, I will ask you to write down your scores for each of the categories and hold them up for the audience to see. Scorekeepers, hidden scorekeepers, will be tabulating and tracking all scores. And at the end of the event, the amazing, unique Urchin Cup will be awarded to the team with the highest combined overall score for all categories. Also, each winning team member will receive a $100 gift card for the campus store. The stakes are high, my friends. We will also be announcing winners of the Best Scientific Poster Award and, of course, the People's Choice Award. And hopefully you did all have a chance to participate by casting your vote. So, we have our urchins. We have our rules. We have our enthusiastic audience. And that's a cue for me to remind you, if you're thinking, is it okay for me to cheer or do something loud? The answer is yes. We have our enthusiastic audience. We have 5 teams, so let the games begin. Are we all ready? First up in the Urchin Tank, team number 1. Team members are Carter Channon, Max Curtis, Songfa Nguyen, Sanket Rana, and Emma Richardson. They are presenting the urchins with Salish Sea Sizzle, a fermented chamoy-inspired sauce. And now it says the video will play.
I wanted to learn more about how microbiology can be used to solve real-world problems instead of just learning how to solve the problems that they make for us in lab.
Yeah, it's been awesome to kind of see what other people are up to on campus. So I've never been in the culinary buildings before. I didn't know what they do, but they have this like crazy cool kitchen and lots of stuff going on there. And like, we get to be in the lab, and I love being in the lab. So that's a very fun part of it.
Okay, come on out, team 1.
Urchins. We are Team 1, the Chamoy Chamigos, and we are so happy and grateful to be the ones kicking off this delicious night full of seaweedy goodness. So my name is Emma, and I am a 3rd-year biology major studying molecular biology.
I'm Max, and I'm also in the biology program.
I'm Sanket. I am also doing biology program.
I'm from Vietnam, and I am a culinary student here at VAU.
I'm Carter, and I'm from Haida Gwaii, and I'm also a culinary student at VIU.
Okay, so what we have here for you today is called Salish Sea Sizzle, and it is a chamoy. So a chamoy is a sour, salty, spicy Mexican sauce, typically paired with fruits, sweets, and meats. But we have added our own BC twist. So in addition to peaches, plums, chilies, we've also added bull kelp. Okay, our product was incredibly easy and simple and energy efficient to make. All we had to do was ferment our ingredients, combine them, blend them together, and add a little bit of spice to taste. So no cooking required. Okay. So if you've never heard of or tried chamoy before, that is completely okay. Actually, it's kind of why we wanted to make it in the first place. So in addition to finding a way of fermenting seaweed and extending its shelf life and culinary potential, we also wanted to address growing consumer demand for unique, new health products. So we thought that a seaweed-infused chamoy sauce would be the perfect solution, combining the health benefits of seaweed with the unique and one-of-a-kind taste of chamoy. So what we have here for you today is a manganada prepared with our Salish Sea Sizzle chamoy. So after you've had a bit of time to taste, we would love to have some feedback on your insights into turning this seaweed sauce into a marketable product.
I love it.
I like the mango.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How much seaweed was put into it? Like the inclusion rate?
Pardon me?
How much seaweed was put into it? Like what if you had to go from like 100% of this cup? Is it 5%, 10%?
This is 15% seaweed.
15.
Yep.
Okay, so nice.
15% seaweed in this cup.
Yep. So the chamoy, 15% seaweed.
In the sauce or in the actual?
Yeah,
like,
in the sauce. Not in the
Okay.
mango. It's just something that we've paired it with.
Yeah. And how much of the sauce did you put into this?
Yeah.
How much of the sauce? We used it as a rim around the glass.
0.01%?
0.01%? I don't think so.
Wondering, how much? 1%,
Yep.
2%, 5%?
Or you can in milliliters too, if that's easier.
In milliliters, I'm not sure in milliliters. We've used it as a rim around the glass with some tahini spice, and we've also added it around the middle of the glass and on top.
So that means you put it around the rim?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So a manganada is a popular Mexican kind of mango smoothie.
It's straight.
Really? Well, we hope you like this chamoy.
I love chamoy.
Ah,
And mango, the combination of mango and chamoy is perfect. Because we also have mangoes.
very
Yeah, what
glad
was
to
the
hear.
motivation to pair it with the mango?
The motivation to pair it with mango is typically chamoy is paired with something sweet. So it's used to bring out the flavor of fresh fruits. So we wanted to use mango just because it's a little Mexican, a bit more warmer kind of taste.
And where's the Canadian part of it?
The Canadian part is in the bull kelp and the plums as well.
The
So our
plums? Where
Yep.
the plums are from?
plums are from.
They're grilling you. I'm enjoying this right now. Mouth full.
Chef Ross, where did you order them from?
See, I'm too busy eating and asking questions.
Victoria?
BC.
Somewhere in BC?
Oh,
So how many products of BC we have in here? Just a cup?
At the moment, I'm not sure where the ingredients are from, but there's plums and peaches and chilies, and those can all be grown in BC. So if you're making a future product, then it's easy to locally source from BC.
sweet.
And of course, the seaweed is from the West Coast.
What's your size? What you suggested size for your product? Does you suggest a size?
So we put it in a bottle. Originally, we made 10-pound ferments, but of course, we can't bring 10 pounds here. So what we have is this bottle.
So you suggest that the product, the final product in that bottle? Or you suggest a smaller or bigger or?
Oh, as in what to serve it? Like how much to serve
Like
it?
for selling purposes.
Yeah, for
like-
if that was on a grocery shelf. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Like to help with that question, maybe the cost is going to come into factor. Also, how much of it you use per serving. So if it's something where it's like ketchup, where you use a lot of it, you're going to need a bigger bottle. But if it's something like, oh, it's just for an extra flavor, you might want a smaller. So just those things to kind of consider.
Right. So I think what I've seen is that it's pretty liberally put on everything. So it's popular as a street food in Mexico. They'll put it on candies and fruits. So
How about in Canada?
in Canada, not so common, which is why we wanted to bring it here for you guys to try. So not very common here in Canada,
So
something
you
new.
suggest that size will be perfect for selling in the grocery stores?
We think something a little smaller. You can buy chamoy here, not very commonly. We found it in a Mexican import store. So that was about a bottle that big. I'm not sure the exact milliliter value.
Yeah, to me, it comes across as like a more premium sauce, not just like a regular old everyday sauce. So I'd probably spend a little bit more on that, meaning that probably couldn't afford to get a big bottle. And then also, if you're not using it as often, then it might not last as long, depending on how many preservatives and how naturally keep it. So
What's the shelf life of that?
Yeah.
The shelf life? We're not sure an exact number.
So we don't know if that is gonna get moldy tomorrow?
It definitely won't get moldy tomorrow, but
What? You feel like it or you know?
I'm pretty sure it won't.
It won't.
I think the chamoy can, I think it can be even left out. It's pretty like acidic, salty, and sugary. And right now it has live bacteria in it, so it has a pretty good community, like live community that will protect it from pathogens for now. It won't last forever. but
Well,
I don't think any product does.
To help with that, like, I mean, maybe you wanted to keep it natural, and there's a market for that. It's a much smaller and more niche market where, you know, there's no preservatives, but of course those products won't last as long. And in the shelf, in the markets, you got to remember there's transport, there's, you know, logistics, and then there's going to be holding. So you might want to do some sort of preservation, adding a preservative to it, or it could be a unique way to package it that might remove the pathogens, but once it's open, you're still going to have that short timeline. I totally get what you mean with the acidic products not, you know, going bad as fast, but that is definitely something to consider, especially with a sauce that might last a little bit longer, right? If it was like a pickle or something that gets eaten, you know, pretty quick, might not be as big of a concern. But just a thing that everything can always get better. The Tesla windows broke, right? So.
Okay. I'd say that's a great product we haven't
Absolutely.
heard from. It's time now, I'm going to ask the judges if you would enter your scores on each of the 3 categories. The categories again, sensory appeal, innovation, and marketability. And team 1, you can stand there and look nervous. You're doing a good job.
Sensory appeal, innovation, and marketability, right?
Sensory appeal, innovation, and marketability. Well, they're marking that down. Did you know there are over 12,000 species of seaweed, all with different sizes and colors? And there are 9 times more seaweeds in the ocean than there are land plants. Think about that. And the opportunity to leverage that resource. That's why we do the Seaweed Challenge. Urchins, are we ready? Kelper, would you lead us off, please?
Momento. Okay.
So reading those out for those who can't see in the back. We have for sensory appeal, 7 out of 10. For innovation, 8 out of 10. And for marketability, 3 out of 10. Thank you, Kelper. Majid, how did you see it?
So we got a 757.
So for sensory appeal, 7. For innovation, 5. For marketability, 7. And Mark.
Go. See them there?
Okay, we have for sensory, 7. For innovation, 7. And for marketability, 6. Thank you very much to the Urchins. Thank you, Team 1. Fantastic job. And I think if I had that to paraphrase some other product, I would put that stuff on everything. All right, it's time now for team 2. On this team are Brian Lamprecht, Isabella Loberitza, Kang Nguyen, Rebecca Nicklin, and Ian Pettit. Their product is Red Reef Relish, a twist on the classic hot red pepper jelly using fermented peppers and locally sourced bull kelp. Let's watch the video first.
So this project represented a really good applied version of biology skills, and like you don't see a lot of courses like this where you get to take what you learn in the lab and apply it to the real world. So it was a really great opportunity for all of us to really get some practical practice in the field.
My biggest piece of advice to any future Urchin Tank goers would be to really have a well thought out, laid out plan before you step into the kitchen to attempt to make your recipe. They're all really important things you need to take into consideration.
Okay. Team 2, why don't you come on out now and meet the urchins?
Good evening, folks. My name is Brian Lamprecht, and I'm a fourth-year biology student.
My name is Isabella Loberiza, and I'm also a biology student.
My name is Ian Pettit. I'm also a biology student.
My name is Kang. I'm a second-year culinary student.
My name is Rebecca. I'm a second-year culinary student.
Greetings, urchins. Tonight, we present to you our take on spicy red pepper jelly. We call it Red Reef Relish. As you may be aware, the seaweed industry was valued at $17 billion in 2021, and it's projected to grow to $48 billion in 2030. So suffice to say, business is booming. Our product is a fusion between locally sourced bull kelp and fermented peppers.
Our inspiration for this product started by taking a look at other cultures and how they implement fermentation into their staple foods. So surprisingly, the history of red pepper jelly spans over a lot of continents, but our version of it has origins in Texas, where they put it on glazed meats, or they use it as a dipping sauce, or they serve it like this over some cheese and crackers. So biting into it, you can definitely expect the classic jelly sweetness with a little bit of a kick from the jalapenos and chili flakes. From the pickled topping, you will definitely recognize a tangy fermented flavor with hints of dill, mustard seed, onion, and garlic. And you might even be able to tell a little hint of sea from the bull kelp that we fermented with our peppers.
Our product fills an innovative niche in the food industry. Through the process of fermentation, we have unlocked the full potential of seaweed by extending shelf life and enhancing flavor. This product is also good for the health-conscious consumer. It is vegan-friendly and gluten-free and packed full of vitamins and minerals. It can also be applied to numerous food types, so it's highly versatile. We love our product. They love our product. Now you're gonna love it.
I'm very impressed. Your confidence, it just takes my breath away.
Hopefully like our product.
I like your voice too.
I love the texture.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think if you ever need to do some advertisements, you got your guy right here.
How did you land on the jelly? I mean, that's a pretty, when I try and put on the consumer hat, that's a very competitive, I'm picturing the shelf at Thrifty Foods. There's lots on there. How do you think I mean, you've identified, I think there's some good value pieces there, but it's going to be a tough market to crack.
It will be tough, but I think with the addition of seaweed, it really puts our product ahead of traditional jellies. Whereas they are like, just fruits and things. Seaweed actually has 10 to 100 times the nutrient density of terrestrial vegetables. So I think people will really see the difference between our product and your typical jelly.
And how are they gonna know?
Marketing, of course.
With that voice, education. Come on, guys.
Shelf life.
So when it's sealed like that, it can remain for probably 18 months. And then when it's opened,
As long as it goes in the fridge, it's relatively safe until it's fully consumed.
yeah. So it will last pretty long.
You can go to a year in the fridge, you think?
Sure, easily.
Easily?
Easily.
I don't know.
Confidence.
No, it
How
will.
about if I could, I contaminate it with another thing?
Spoon.
Well, it is fermented, so it's got quite a low pH of, I think, about 3.6. So anything below 4.2 pH prevents bacteria growth, well, especially coliforms, which are unhealthy or foodborne illness-causing bacteria. So it will have resistance even if you contaminate.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
He came ready with the details. That's what's up. Sorry,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask about the inclusion rate again. What the percentage of seaweed is in your product, in your jelly.
Of course. So there's 20% seaweed in there, and 4% salt. We put a kind of in the middle for the salt because it helps the lactic acid bacteria grow, which is really beneficial for gut health and also great for preservation. It also has antimicrobial properties, so further preserves.
Just to echo my esteemed Urchin's commentary on the seaweed piece, there is, just as a general observation, there is a movement afoot in the food space globally to be using sea vegetable as opposed to the seaweed. So just something, and again, as you're trying to stand out on the shelves, it's an important,
Absolutely.
It's a differentiator.
So you suggest to market it in a glass jar?
We think that along with the name Red Reef Relish, you can see the red, you can see like it's relish because it's got chunks in it, and it speaks for itself.
So your chunks are kelp?
Yes,
No?
kelp and pepper.
Kelp, peppers, garlic, onions.
What about the jelly itself? Did you guys use any seaweed in the jelly itself?
We used pectin.
Okay.
Yep.
So you could use another gel derived from seaweeds.
Yes, you could. You could use like an agarose kind of thing.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ask the urchins to lodge their scores now. Did you know that most of the world's oxygen comes from seaweed? Are you enjoying your oxygen? Seaweed is so surprisingly good for you in ways that you didn't even know.
Surprisingly,
Are we ready now? Kelper?
yes, of course.
What do we got there? Share it with your MC. Okay, sensory, 8. Innovation, 7. Marketability, 9. Najib.
So we got 8, 6, and 7.
8, 6, 7 from Najib. And Mark.
Wow. I'm going to be the hard guy. I love the product. I think, like, to buy, I think it's a tough challenge to sell.
So that was a
7,
7,
6, and
6,
5.
and a 5.
Yeah.
Okay, well done, everyone. Big hand for it.
And the samples are there for you to keep.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's got a lot of pH levels, marketability tips. Well done, you guys. Well done. And now for Team 3. Team 3 members are Q-An Lee, Emily Lawn, Keisha Long, Tana Molinar Wilson, Denman Moody, and Becca Snow. Team 3 is presenting Kelping It Spicy. Fermented bull kelp and jalapeno jelly with hints of citrus and black tea. Let's see what that's all about.
I think almost none of the biology students, if not all, have never been inside the culinary building before. So that was a really cool experience, and vice versa, because we also had the culinary students come up to the biology lab and help us do some plating of our samples. So they got to experience our world, we got to experience theirs. So I thought it was very fun. That's probably my favorite part, and putting together the actual ferments, like chopping up everything in the culinary building, coming up with these ideas, although it was a little stressful at the time to figure out what we were doing in a short amount of time, but we did it and it was fun. So yeah, I think kind of all that, all the different sides of it.
So let's come on out, team 3.
Good evening, urchins. My name is Emily, and I am a biology student here at VIU.
Hi everyone, I'm Gwen. I'm from Vietnam and I'm culinary student from VIU.
Hello, I'm Keisha. I am in the biology department at VIU here.
Hi, my name is Tana, and I am a biology student.
Hello, my name is Becca, and I'm in the culinary program.
Hi, I'm Denman. I'm also in biology, and together we are the Mean Green Fermenting Machines. Thank you. Our product is called Kelpinate Spicy. It is a spicy fermented jelly. The base of the jelly is carrots, yellow peppers, jalapenos, and 15% bull kelp. We also added some black tea and some bay leaves to increase the tannins to give some crunch to the seaweed. It is vegan, gluten-free, and nut-free, and has many different flavors and textures involved in the jelly, so we figured it could apply to a wide variety of consumers. And it also has lots of different applications, like we've done a little charcuterie board style stick here, and we thought as well, maybe in stir fries or as a dipping sauce for some appetizers, or even as like a substitute relish on a hot dog or something of the sort, as well as maybe a fun little artisan gift. And so Becca is going to talk about what we have served for you today.
Thank you. So in the jellies, we have kind of two different jellies here. We have the kind of like standard one, and then one we added miso to. So the standard jelly, they both have some orange concentrate, lemon juice and zest, and like some sugar. It's just like very basic, not a whole lot of ingredients, and some extra jalapenos, just keep it a little bit more spicy. But it's sweet. It's got a bit of umami. It's a little sour, a little spicy, so it's a little bit of everything. What we have for you is a charcuterie cup. So it's got dried apricot on the bottom, brie cheese, capicola, crostini, our jelly, the miso jelly, and a fresh strawberry on there. And then we have the sweet application of puff pastry vol au vent with poached pear, brie cheese, our jelly, the one without miso, and little microgreens. Thank you.
I don't want to even eat it because it's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this, like, bravo, the culinary, gorgeous presentation.
Thank you very much.
Well done. I like that you can see the seaweed too. Thank you, please.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I left a card with your teammate, so.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah,
So the one with the charcuterie is the one that has no miso, right?
It is the one with miso, sorry, yeah.
With the miso.
Yeah.
And again, there seems to be a movement toward the jelly type spread. Is there a motivation for that, or was it just the easiest to work with?
I was just going to say, we didn't really realize that it was going to be such a hit.
Got
that
it.
Everyone was doing jelly. I don't know if you had something else to say.
Yeah, I mean, we were wanting to do something that was sweet initially, and then we thought we wanted something that could be applicable in a bunch of different applications, you know, like sweet and spicy, sweet and, you know. So we kind of came to the jelly because we were just thinking of what's sweet and something else.
How many products are in that jar?
I'd say about 10.
10?
Yeah.
And how many kelp? Just one kelp, right?
Yeah.
So out of those 10 is the kelp, just one.
Yeah.
And it's chopped into a consistency, or it's just chopped? How do you mechanize it, or do you just cut it by hand?
We cut it by hand, yeah.
By hand?
Yeah.
And you have a specific size of it, or it's just uneven size?
It was, so we cut all the vegetables, we cut our whole ferment up, and we wanted to keep the pieces in there so that we could have that crunch.
Yeah.
So we tried to do like a very same size brunoise, and then we just had some like little strips of the seaweed. So yeah, about the same size. Yeah.
Can I ask? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You gave me last time, so you go
Okay,
first.
sorry. So I'm curious, you know, this jar, is that kind of what you envision for a retail pack size?
Yeah, I mean, when we see jalapeno jelly, pepper jellies, you know, at the deli, they're about that size, I'd say.
Again, what's the shelf life?
About 18 months.
18 months?
About 18 months.
How many bacteria, what type of bacteria you use to ferment it?
We did just the bacteria that were naturally there, and we were kind of watching the live feed in the back, so I don't know if Brian already mentioned this, but it does use the bacteria that are already in the ferment, and then the lactic acid bacteria that produce lactic acid, which drops the pH naturally in the ferment, kill off the gram-negative bacteria that are the ones that cause foodborne illnesses. So it's all just natural bacteria that you would find there.
So I don't need to like look for the bacteria to ferment my jelly then?
No, you don't have to source it or add anything. It's already good to
Just all
go.
naturally in there?
Yeah.
With all the ingredients that you put in there?
Exactly, yeah.
Can I ask if you guys have a rough idea about the costing of the jelly? Like, is it a lot of ingredients and higher price ingredients? Is it a lot of basic ingredients? Do you have a rough idea? It might be too early of a question.
For ingredients, there's nothing in there that's super expensive. Like I said, like I think we kind of mentioned all the ingredients that are in there. You know, like mostly just fresh fruit and vegetables, like the peppers and the, so.
Do you have a rough idea as to like what a jar would cost you guys, or
A
just,
jar,
or to retail, whatever you want to?
a retail price, we were thinking probably around $10 for a jar. You know, that's making a profit, and because of the labor, I think the cost would be more into the labor than the cost of the ingredients.
So then that would mean you guys would have to sell it at $250 and still make your profit. Does that sound reasonable? Because retail is like when the consumer buys it in the store. Stores only going to buy it for 50 to 60% markup, and then they're probably going to buy it from a distro. It's going to be hard to get them direct. So there's like a few middlemen. So then that drops your price down to like $250 sold. So you have to be able to produce it for about $1.25 to make it worthwhile. Is that way over the cost, or do you have a rough, like, does that kind of give you a little perspective? That's the hardest thing in foods, is making it affordable.
Yeah. The costing is kind of like I didn't do like a full costing, like we ordered the ingredients and like I wasn't physically, but most of them are very cheap ingredients. So I think $1.50 per jar would not be
unreasonable.
That wouldn't be like an
How long does
overestimate.
it take to do this?
How long did it make? The ferment took us about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, the overall, the whole thing, whole production.
4 and then whatever you and Gwen put into it.
Yeah, sorry, is the question how long did it take to make or how
Yeah,
long
to
fermented?
make the whole product.
Okay, yeah, so.
From fermentation to the beginning to now.
Sure.
About a month?
Yeah, about a month, because, yeah, so we, we were actually making the ferment for about 4 hours, and then it fermented for 2 weeks, and then we had some time to make the jelly. It was about a day we spent making it.
And why 2 weeks? Because it was the pH that you like it?
Yeah. We can do it in about a week, but we just left it for longer because we were looking for lab time in our class to do it. And that took us 2 weeks to get. So you can leave it, which is a good option too, right? Yeah. Like you can do it in a week, you can leave it a little bit if you get busy. And then once it's all in the jar, it lasts for 18 months probably. So yeah, and also our 2 chefs here were doing all of the chopping by hand. So if we had some sort of mechanism to help speed up that process, then we're reducing a lot of labor time as well.
What's your pH on this?
It was about 4.1.
So just at the cusp of the safe pH.
Yes, but on top of doing the pH, we were also doing all of the plating as well. So we were actually physically looking for those gram-negative bacteria, and we didn't find any. So they're gone. It's safe. Everybody who ate it, it's safe.
Bing, bing, bing. That's the buzzer for the student sweat meter. We've made them sweat enough. I'm going to ask now.
Y'all did great.
Urchins, if you could please put your scores down.
Spicy. I like the name.
Thank you.
Very creative. And the texture.
My next fun fact, there are 3 main seaweed categories, red, green, and brown. Just like land-based plants, all 3 types of seaweed have chlorophyll. Exciting. What are these scores here? 8, 6, 8. Thank you, Kelper. Rajid.
Sorry, I forgot that.
9, 8, 8. Excellent. And Mark. 8, 7, 8.
Wow, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Team 3.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. Oh, it's a good idea.
Oh, thank you.
I could take your extra jar if you want.
You gotta fight for them after.
All right, it's time now to welcome our 4th team. Members of the 4th team are Thomas Champagne, Rucha Karandi, Talon Lissimore, Fuak Nyung Lee, and Hardeep Singh. Team 4 is presenting the Urchins with Vancouver Island Ocean Heat, a fermented Jamaican-style seaweed chili paste. Let's hear from Team 3. 4. Okay, I saw a lot of movement, a lot of bouncing in the audience. Let's bring out Team 4.
Hello, everyone, and dear judges. My name is Rucha Karande, and I'm here with my teammates Thomas, Talon, Wu, and Hardeep. And today I'm going to be introducing you to our product, which is the fermented seaweed chili paste. It's Jamaican style. It not only tantalizes your taste buds, but also adds a dash of health to your meals. It is a symphony of umami, heat, and an essence of the ocean all in one jar. It can be used in many versatile ways, and you can use it as a marinade for grilled meats. You can use it as a zesty topping for tacos. You can also use it to transform a simple dish like rice and chicken into a gourmet experience. It also is flavor packed as well as has a lot of nutritional benefits and is packed with vitamins, minerals, and probiotics from the fermentation process. And I'm just going to pass it on to Thomas here.
So in making this product, in the preliminary phases, we had gone to Deep Bay and we spoke with one of our seaweed experts, Majid. And one of the things he really stressed is that they're looking for a product that can kind of be an intermediate product. So not just selling direct to consumers, but also business to business. And so we really wanted to make something that would be exciting for chefs and different businesses to add to their products. So it's basically a value-added product that we can market business to business. And so this is something that would be very exciting to have on a menu in like a high-end restaurant in Vancouver or Tofino. So looking at that menu, you might see oysters served with a beautiful fermented chili paste made with local seaweed from Vancouver Island. And so that's really our big inspiration, is something that's exciting to see on a menu, something other businesses can use to add to their products, or even marketing direct to consumers. So in a grocery store, the beautiful label with that Vancouver Island name, which already has a lot of brand awareness. People are excited to try products from Vancouver Island. And so that was really our inspiration, something that people are excited to try and businesses would want to purchase, use in their products, or even just regular consumers in the grocery store. They see that on a shelf and they go, wow, that's exciting. It's from Vancouver Island and it's seaweed and it's healthy on top of that. Obviously, it's a fermented product and people more and more are looking for those these days. So we'll let the judges try it and we'll hear what they think.
And judges, what you have in front of you is a pork jerky in a vacuum sealed. There's a stripe, there's a color coded. You can just taste it. It's made by marinating the pork in our chili paste and then made into a jerky. Hope you guys like it.
Sorry, that's like a B2B application where someone could make their beef jerky with this. That's awesome, dude.
Production time in the jerky.
The production time, we fermented for about 2 weeks, and it took us 3 hours to put it together afterward. Oh, for the jerky, sorry. The jerky took 3 hours.
Okay.
Are we gonna have to fight over that jar? Kind of put that in the middle and you're like, go.
Quite spicy.
It's very spicy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as we said earlier, it's not a condiment or a final dish. It's an ingredient that goes into the preparation of the food. Right. So that's why we kept it a little high on the spiciness, because as it goes into your meal, it will milder as it goes.
So this product is for adding into cuisine.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it has a very versatile use. You can use it as a marinade for your grilled meats. You can use that as a zesty topping for your tacos or your morning eggs. And you can also make a simple meal like maybe rice or chicken.
Morning eggs?
Chicken. Chicken.
That will be very tough for me.
So yeah, like you can add this into basically anything. There's a broad range.
It's a
As we
functional
said
ingredient.
earlier, she might have mentioned the possibilities vast as the ocean.
Can you, sorry, maybe you mentioned this, the percentage inclusion rate of seaweed in it?
We added 9% of seaweed.
9 or 9D?
9.
Okay, okay.
How you prepare the seaweed?
Sorry?
How you prepare it?
We
Bulk
plant.
kelp, right? Bulk kelp?
Yeah, we're using bull kelp, and we blanched it for 3 minutes in a steamer, in a kitchen or a culinary institute, and we blanched it for 3 minutes, and then we used into our ferments.
What makes it so spicy? What is it that you put that makes it?
I'll let the culinary students answer that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I use habanero and jalapenos to
Got
mix
that.
the mix.
Now I got it.
That makes sense.
And do you envision it predominantly, we've talked about both retail and kind of in this particular as a B2B, like a food service product, where do you think your strongest opportunity is to sell it?
Well, I think both, because obviously on Vancouver Island, we have a lot of tourists. So I think if that was in a shop, like in a tourist store, in a gift shop, it's shelf stable, they can take it home, it's a small package. But I also think, yeah. But business to business is another big option, because we have so many great restaurants on Vancouver Island and a lot of high-end restaurants here and on Vancouver, and then even across Canada. So I think business to business is also a big option for this one. And it's going to look great on a menu when you see Vancouver Island fermented seaweed chili paste. So I think chefs would be really excited to try this in their restaurant.
Some quick questions. Have you guys tried with different inclusion rates, like adding more or less seaweed? And what were your findings? And also, are you able to change the consistency of it to make it thicker, more like a paste, thinner? Probably not thinner, but.
With this product, there was only one iteration with like amounts of seaweed. But in the laboratory, we had done like some preliminary studies, like a sauerkraut style product. And in that one, we had varying levels of seaweed. And what we found is when you start getting above 30%, the ferment is not as successful. So if you're kind of below that 30% threshold, the ferment is almost no difference between the seaweed and without.
What held you back from using a higher rate for this one, like 20%, let's say?
We wanted to make sure it was food safe because we really only had one shot at making this. And so like 10%, that's still a good amount. You're still going to have some flavor from the seaweed, but we're going to end up with a successful product at the end.
This is a non-seaweed question, but on the heat in general, you talk about, I use the word dilute when you use it and include it in other recipes. Is there an opportunity, could you have, I'm picturing the salsa aisle, medium, mild, hot. Did you actually create it that way from the onset? Yeah.
Yes. The heat from the sauce actually come from the habanero, and
That's for sure.
Depends on the amount of depends on the amount of habanero we use. We can adjust that. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
And actually, it was a lot spicier when we were first trying it. So we had to.
Good thing.
So we had to take the habaneros out after the ferment. It already had put a lot of flavor into the overall paste, right? So we took them out by hand, and then we added some honey to mild the taste a bit. But there's the opportunity to make it mild, medium, and hot.
How many products should you put in that to make this product?
I would say it's about 15 to 20.
15 to 20 products to make this sauce.
Yes.
Wow.
But for this batch, it's only we can make up to 50 jars of that. And yeah.
Cleared up the sinuses, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm a little dizzy now. I feel like drunk.
What do you think the price point of that jar on the shelf would be?
Pardon me?
How much do you think you'd sell that for in the grocery store?
Yeah, I would say it's about 10 to 15.
$10 to $15?
Yes. It would be like the jars of salsa that you get from 7-Eleven, and yeah.
And you can put it in it doesn't need to be refrigerated.
it should be.
Should be.
That's a better answer.
Once it's open.
That's another
Yeah, once it's
issue.
open.
Once it's open, yeah.
Refrigerate after opening.
After opening.
Yes, the product have a lot of acidity to it, so it's shelf stable.
Yeah.
It can last up to a year, and after open, it can last up to 5 to 6 months.
Bing, bing, bing. Well done. Now it's time to hear the Urchins' scores. While they're scoring, did you know that seaweed is considered a nature-based solution to climate change? Did you know that? According to the United Nations, seaweed is one of the most scalable nature-based solutions for both decarbonizing the economy and sequestering carbon from the surface of the ocean. Seaweed, it can do it all, and it tastes great. Six, 7, and 7. Thank you, Kelper. Majid, 8 for sensory, 9 for innovation, 7 for marketability. And Mark has 7, 7, and 6. Well done, everyone. Thank you very much, Team 4. Well done. Now the urchins are wondering if they still have taste buds. And now it's time for our 5th team. Team 5 members are Rochelle Bansal, Sebastian Serrano Urulia, Lily Eggert, Leo Nguyen, and Charlotte von Schutz. And they are proudly presenting the urchins Seaweed Sweet and Sour, which is an apple, plum, and mint jelly.
My favorite part was definitely when we first got all of our ingredients and we were first actually seeing the seaweed that we were going to work with. And we literally just started, like, we cut up some apples and plums and got some of our mint, and we just started to like grab some seaweed and a piece of apple and a little bit of mint and just like eat it as is, just to see what it would be like. Because up until that point, at least the 3 of us, we had no idea what kind of flavors it would end up like tasting like when it was all combined. And then when we actually tried it, it was weirdly really good. Just made me really excited about the direction we were going in.
I still feel like it was more of a snacking thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Because we all knew that after fermentation it would be totally different.
So maybe I wanted to eat some.
Yeah.
Okay, come on out, Team 5.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lily. I am a chemistry and biology student here at BIU.
My name is Charlotte. I'm studying biomedical science.
Hi, my name is Sebastian. I'm a 3rd-year chemistry student.
Hi, my name is Leo. I'm a 2nd year in culinary management.
Hi, my name is Rushal Bansal. I am in the 2nd year of my culinary management diploma. I'm from India, so international students.
Okay, so while Rushal and the others are serving you guys the jelly that we have made, I will introduce you guys. So hello, urchins. Our mission today is to introduce you to our seaweed sweet and sour jelly. Our jelly incorporates apples, plums, and a little bit of mint alongside bull kelp into a surprisingly sweet, salty, and tangy twist on a pantry staple. So those flavors of sweet and sour and salty are all really nicely complemented by the notes of plum that come forward. Whether you want something special to put on a charcuterie board with friends, something that you just want to have with some toast, or something special to put into a bubble tea, this product is right for you. Additionally, our original fermented juice would make for an excellent marinade or sauce. I personally would really love to try making this as a sweet and sour pork glaze. Also, if we bumped up our seaweed percentage and really leaned into those kind of fishy flavors, we really believe that this jelly, turned into the right shape, could make for a fantastic substitute for caviar. And if we experimented further, we could even use agar-agar to make this into a vegan and much, much more sustainable alternative to that luxury product. Ultimately, we wanted to bring something unique, sweet, salty, and bring the ocean to the dessert realm. Our jelly was made by comparing a control recipe which had no seaweed to one which contained 12% bull kelp, specifically the blade of the kelp. As I mentioned though, if we bumped that seaweed percentage up higher, it would even further illuminate those umami notes that come through at the tail end of that dish. And additionally, the texture of the seaweed really contributes to the overall jelliness of our final product. I'll now pass the microphone over to Charlotte, who will tell you a little bit about how our jelly was originally produced.
Thank you, Lily. We started our ferments with putting apple, plums, mint, and 3% salt into vacuum bags and let them ferment for 15 days. And after that, we put all those fruits in a food processor to get all the juices out of the ingredients. And then we added gelatin to our juice in order to get just the right consistency to put it on cracker, for example. That makes our product gluten-free, and we hope you've enjoyed this first taste, and we would love to hear your feedback on how we could improve our product to commercialize it. Thank you.
Well done, you guys.
I heard dessert in there. Is that how you would market this?
It depends. Because this was our first swing at this recipe, there are a few different directions we could take it. By bumping up the sugar content, we could very easily lean into this jelly dessert side. But as I mentioned, if we instead increased the seaweed percentage, we could easily lean more into the savory aspect with a caviar substitute.
So the salty taste is from the kelp, or you add salt?
It would be both. So when doing fermentations like this, it's important to have a brine aspect. Generally, this is 2 to 3% salt. And the reason for this is that the bacteria that we're relying on for this fermentation, those lactic acid bacteria, they're what's known as halophilic, which means that they are salt-loving. So we kind of need to give them the right environment for them to really thrive and impart all those amazing benefits.
This is a love affair between the microbes?
Pardon? Sorry,
Is this a love affair?
Yeah, you could think about it that way.
The salt and the microbes?
They're getting it on.
That's a song.
How many products do you have in there?
Pardon?
How many products to make this one?
We used apples, plum, and mint alongside the kelp. However, as you'll notice, our original idea was to bring forward a lot more mint flavors, but we realized when we tasted it that we really loved the sweet and sour aspect of it. So we believe that this product could easily be replicated with simply adding plum, apple, and kelp to keep things nice and simple and sweet.
So 3 products.
Yes.
And that's how you're going to sell it? That's how you suggested to sell it in that form?
Yes. However, as I mentioned, if we experiment further, we could potentially turn this into a different shape and lean into that caviar side.
Interesting.
So there's a product that we're working towards, and it's very similar to this. In the dessert side of things, it's really hard to compete, and it's really hard to like make money in general with foods. But one way you could take this and just kind of jack up the value is by supplementing it. So kind of getting away from the dessert side of things and more towards like a supplement type jelly to have with your breakfast on the side. There's a market for that. And basically the way you can also, I don't know what the inclusion rate of seaweed is in there, but to increase it, you could replace the gelatin with seaweed-based alginates.
Yes, our original hope was to go with agar-agar, as of course you know, that's seaweed-based. However, we ended up having to go with gelatin in order to complement this specific jelly texture that we were aiming for. But of course, we're scientists. Experimenting is what we do. So that's what we could do to go forwards and improve this product.
No, of course. Well done, guys.
Hit me.
Any thought process around what you would sell that for? Price point?
Now, we kind of were debating about this backstage. If we're to stick with the jelly, we could see $5 to $10 being reasonable, but if we're leaning more towards that savory kind of caviar side, you could easily bump that price up and still be like very competitive with the luxury alternative.
Yep.
I like the neutrality of it, because it could be very diverse in the culinary aspect of things.
Yep.
And then you have a very simple product. You don't have 20 elements in there. You have only 3. So that makes it easier and cheaper. I like the color too, the pink. It's pretty sexy.
I was so happy with how the pink turned out. I'm glad that you love it too.
Yeah, colorful, friendly.
Yeah. Well done, you guys.
Yeah, bravo.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's get our scoring down.
No, just come. Walk. Just passing this guy. Yeah, just for your team. Just reach out to us later.
Sorry, I'm
It's all
not.
good. I was trying to be sly about it, but
What is happening?
Believe it or not, I'm not very slick. I don't have pockets.
Everybody got one.
Thank you so much.
Live events are the best, aren't they? Okay, from Kelper we have a 9, an 8, and a 9. Majid is the inverse, an 8, a 9, and an 8. And Mark has an 8, an 8, and a 7.
Thank you.
Well done, Team 5. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So amazing. Let's have a big hand for all those teams. They put so much into that. We are so grateful for our urchins to help out with this project every step along the way, and for being here this evening. I'd like to ask the urchins if you wouldn't mind sharing just a few words about what this experience was like for you. If we could start with Mark.
Put me on the hot spot. No, I think I was here last year. I was here not in the capacity of an urchin last year, but I was here, and being actively involved in really watch the industry grow in British Columbia and Canada. I think this is excellent. I love the fact how they brought the science together with the food production. I think it is innovative. I think it's, hope we weren't too harsh, but I think it's, when you're looking at something to go into the food space, it is a highly hyper-competitive space to be into, but the enthusiasm is infectious, and I thought I think it's an excellent event. So kudos to VIU and the Seafood Innovation Center for putting it together. I think it's excellent.
Thank you. Kelper, how was this for you? Kelper? Yes, please.
Sorry. Yes, I second definitely what Mark says to say is that is very competitive, but I think the innovation is right there with the creativity of both faculties. I think it's important to expose to the public. Unfortunately, we have to educate, and that costs money. As a kelp industry, it's really, really hard to convince people that kelp is not slimy, it's mucilage. Kelp is a sea vegetable, it's very nutritious. It could be used in various forms. So we're exposed to these various textures, colors, flavors, aroma, and you have the opportunity to taste it. So I think it's a great interaction from the public, the students, the faculty, support this new industry, in parentheses new, because it's been here forever. We kind of think that kelp is exotic, and I think the tomato is more exotic than the kelp, to tell you the truth, historically. So we have kelp here for thousands of years. So to be exposed to this in this center, I think it's bravo. I really appreciate that I've been invited to taste these incredible products. They're full of creativity, science, and try to open up this very important market, which is the seaweed in our province. So yeah, thank you very much, Deborah, Olivia, and the center, and all of you to be here and support this very important industry. Thank you.
And Majid, how was this experience for you?
Yeah, I always like to stay close to my youth, whether they're high school students, university students, whatever, anyone that's younger than me. And it's hard to go from academia to the real world. It's just kind of a big flip. You have all these expectations, optimism, et cetera, and then you're not really prepared for how things actually are. So Deborah, Olivia, this is like super important for them to experience this whole thing, and for it to be outside of the classroom. There's only so much you can learn from a classroom scenario, and as great as our lecturers, our professors, our teachers are, it's hard to convey real life lessons unless they're actually on the spot, getting grilled and having an audience and all that. Like going through that's just going to build the character and the expectation of what it's really going to be like. So it's better for them to kind of go through this now than to spend $100,000 on it and then figure it out. Yeah, I've been there and done that. It's not fun. So and it also, it interacts the students between microbiology and the different departments. And when you go into the real world, you might be the best chef in the world, but you're not going to run a business. You might be able to run a business, but you're not going to be able to create a product. So you need a team, and that's what makes things work. And that's kind of what they're really learning here. So yeah, I'm proud to be inspired to be part of it, and I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all of our urchins. Okay, everyone. All 5 teams have presented to these kind, caring, and highly qualified urchins. The suspense surely is reaching a peak. So let's bring the student teams back to the stage and move on to the awards portion of this evening. Okay. Aren't they good looking? And so hardworking. What a great group. Okay, let's start off with the Best Scientific Poster Award. This award recognizes excellence in both oral and written scientific communication. Professors from VIU Biology visited each team's table in the lobby at the beginning of this event and scored teams on their poster presentations. So I'd like Dr. Andy Loudon to please announce the winner of this award. There you are.
All right, thank you. For the Best Poster Award, which took account of poster pitch and aesthetics of the poster, Team 5, Seaweed Sweet and Sour Jelly.
Well, that's for me. Okay. Congratulations. Well done. Now it's time for the People's Choice Award. This award comes from you, all y'all. And all y'all is, of course, the plural of y'all. All y'all made your votes known, and after visiting the booths and trying each of the products, you cast your votes. And so I invite Mark Smith to announce the winner of the People's Choice Award.
Great. Thank you. The envelope. Wow, congratulations. Team 3, Calcified Spicy. Fantastic.
Mark. Well done, Team 3. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Who will win the Urchin Cup? Will it be Team 1 with Salish Sea Sizzle? Will it be Team 2 with Red Reef Relish? Will it be Team 3 with Keeping It Spicy? Will it be Team 4 with Vancouver Island Ocean Heat? Or will it be Team 5 with Seaweed Sweet and Sour? Who's it gonna be, folks? Let's find out. Let's have Kelper and Majid come forward to announce and congratulate the winning team together.
What do you think, Majid?
Oh, I thought it was the Urchin Cup Award, but that's just the name on the envelope.
Okay, the Team E, the winner is.
We got Team 5. Sweet and sour.
John, get Mark in there too.
You also, you should get in there too.
I'm just a hired help. Okay, congratulations, Team 5. What are we doing now? We're going to wrap things up. What an event. But before we wrap things up, we're going to wrap things up. But before we wrap things up, I want to say a few words about the impact of the Urchin Tank at Vancouver Island University. This event and the Seaweed Challenge leading up to it all term have brought students, faculty, and industry together towards a common cause, a very important cause in our region. Creating new seaweed products contributes to coastal economic development and food security. This program has resulted in higher student engagement, better understanding, better grades, and new career aspirations. Recently, the Urchin Tank team was awarded the VIU Provost's Award for Interdisciplinary Research, and this award is granted to researchers who excel at collaborating outside their primary discipline to create new insights, innovations, and societal impacts. So well deserved. I'm sure you will all agree that was a wonderful accomplishment for them, and I'd like to appreciate that. So congratulations. And I'm a person who likes to openly share my gratitude. So please feel free to add some applause as I mention some people and organizations who deserve to be recognized at this time. First of all, thanks to all of you in the audience for showing up, participating, and cheering on, supporting these amazing students. Thanks to all of you. And let me say thank you to CSI for keeping us crime-free. The Deep Bay Bowser area is very grateful for that. It's also, for bringing the Urchin Tank to Vancouver Island University. It was all the brainchild of CSI, and it's awesome to see applied research and public education done so well. So thank you to Deborah, and thank you also to Olivia. Olivia Alexander works tirelessly for months on this project, on all the planning details, and she's an amazing person who's worked so hard. So thanks to her. Thank you to all these amazing students and to your instructors for all the hard work. This was a difficult and complex challenge, and you all did amazingly well. Well done. Thank you for participating. Thank you to our urchins, Kelper, Majid, and Mark. You not only support us, you inspire us. Thank you so much for all your efforts. And thank you to our industry partners and our sponsors, the BC Ministry of Agriculture and Food, North Pacific Kelp Wild Foods, Canadian Pacifico Seaweeds, NOS Foods, the Pacific Seaweed Industry Association, Hub City Fisheries, and MNP. So before we rush out, a reminder that it's time for some photos. We love photos, so let's get all of our students. You're going to stick around there. Don't rush out. We're going to have photos of the students in your teams with the urchins and with the CSI members. Everyone else, thank you so much for coming out. I hope you enjoyed this event as much as I did. I hope you see how sexy Seaweed is. And we look forward to seeing you back next year, as this event will be back next year, bigger and better than ever. Thanks for everyone.